Chukchi has apparently claimed the North Sea. Is this technically the North Sea? I don't know. Okay, well they are now ocean people. So what if every nation could colonize? As long as you have access to a port. I'm not talking about just Europe. I'm talking about Africa and Asia included. How would the New World look? How would this universe play out with South America, North America, and even Australia being completely open to anyone? But here's the thing though, just because anyone can colonize doesn't mean everyone will. And more than likely Castile, France, England will probably be still pretty dominant. They're just gonna have to compete with a lot more out there. I should also mention that more than likely Siberia is gonna be super affected as well. I think it's very unlikely that Muscovy actually gets all the way over here. Obviously things like religion and culture are gonna be super different in this universe. That's actually gonna be one of my favorite parts, just seeing how chaotic it's gonna get. So since we're mainly focused on colonization here, I'm not gonna spend much time at all in the very beginning. Let's just skip to the 1500s and see what happens. So 60 years has passed, and obviously there's a lot of changes in the Eastern Hemisphere, a couple emerging powers, not much colonization, obviously not just yet, but a couple powers have found some stuff. I mean, this is the craziest thing so far that I almost missed. We have Brabant, or however you say it. They've colonized the Falkland Islands. Little things like this are going to happen. We need to take note of it because I'm not exactly sure how long they're going to keep this stuff. That's another thing I should have mentioned. I expect the Atri to get quite a few colonies. It doesn't matter who they are, even if they're one province minor, they're going to get some stuff. Then there's Granada with 3 provinces in Rio. So yeah, I'm actually expecting a lot of the colonization to be pretty chaotic early on here. But as time goes by, I'm thinking it's going to consolidate. Wow, okay, I didn't even notice Africa. It didn't really dawn on me, I guess. But I opened up the technology screen. There you go. Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of Western powers here. Wasn't really paying attention. That did not take long at all. Everyone is just eating up land left and right, which I guess I honestly should have expected. We even got the Cape of Good Hope with Aragon, Castile, and Fries land. Well, let's see if they can keep this. Oh, and then there's Australia, which now that I think about it, this whole part of the world is very unlikely to be touched by the Europeans. I don't mean that in a creepy way. And unsurprisingly, Siberia is just a huge cluster. And I don't expect it to change at all in this game. Oh man, and don't forget about Samsung. Samsung is just spreading all throughout the West Coast. And I think we might possibly see a Norwegian 13 colonies. It's definitely starting to look that way. I don't think there's much of anyone else over here. Damn it, I forgot to mention, I think Ming should have maybe the greatest game ever here. I mean, just in terms of colonization, although they're kind of off to a slow start. They're also gonna have some interesting neighbors. I couldn't really tell because their colors are so similar, but we've got Muscovy to the south, and then the Mamluks out here in the west. Man, this shit is getting crowded. Aragon, I believe, has just established the first colony with its own name, basically Venezuela. They probably need to connect these two territories, but okay. I also wanted to predict that Morocco should have a good game. I guess they're not doing too bad with Morocco and Brazil. I expected better, but again, it's tough when like almost everyone's colonizing. New Zealand's already under complete control, and I actually expect a lot of these nations to do very well. There's only going to be a couple of them. They're going to have a lot of land to themselves. I guess we should probably check on Europe at least a little bit in this game. So we have Denmark doing pretty well with Danish Russia. The Commonwealth have formed Aragon, which, I mean, we already saw they were in the New World. They've annexed Naples. They've got quite a bit of colonies. And the year is 1537. And the English still have control over Brittany and a little bit more. They've also almost formed Great Britain. You'd probably expect them to have a pretty big colonial empire, but yep, nope, that's not gonna happen this time around. I mean, at the moment, you know, they're just kind of in the Caribbean, and that's it. This is not too bad, but I doubt they'll get much bigger. Well, hold up, let me take that back for a second, because that might change through war, which I should look at the Great Powers list. Right now, it's the Ottomans, France, and Ming in the top 3. Well, by the end, who knows how this is gonna play out. I have no idea why I thought it'd be a good idea to include the new Colonial Name mod, with all these like random nations that I barely heard of now getting colonies. It's just gonna make things kind of a lot more complicated. Like these guys, for instance. I have no idea who they are. I probably should. I'm gonna have to do some like detective work trying to figure this shit out. I mean, looking at their culture, it's gotta be someone from Central Europe. While Portugal, surprisingly, out of the traditional colonizers, seem to be doing the best. I mean, England, France, they're barely even over here. And I don't even know what the hell Castile's doing. Oh, well, Castile's struggling. Castile's clearly struggling. Aragon's probably being a big old bully. Oh my god. Finally. Ming just bursted into multiple pieces. Oh, that's so beautiful. Damn. And it's already just a massive mess. Something so hideous has never made me want to nut like this. It reminds me of the good old days. The good old days when this happened literally every single game. Is the Empire of China even a thing? Why is this still here? I mean, I guess something somewhat similar. It's not even similar, but Persia's a huge mess too. Timmy's still here, but this also is kind of nostalgic. Damn, that's a thick Congo. That is one thick Congo empire. It's 1561. I have no idea where this came from. Same goes for the Incan Empire. Holy shit, I've never seen them this big before. I doubt that they're gonna have much they'll eventually die. They might be dying right now. Well, for those brief couple seconds, they were doing pretty great. Nope, we are not gonna get a Norwegian 13 colonies. We are getting whatever this is. I don't know what that is. I don't know how they got all this over here. And Aragon has created Fernandia, something like that. She sounds hot with enough alcohol. Chukchi has apparently claimed the North Sea. Is this technically the North Sea? I don't know. Okay, well, they are now ocean people. No, but I'm assuming this has something to do with Siberia. Siberia still being disgusting. But yeah, I don't know. It just kind of went over the map. It's the start of the 1600s, and man, this is definitely unlike I've ever seen before. I don't know if I like it. I mean, first of all, we've got the British that have kind of made a colonial comeback with basically Peru at the expense of the Inca, I might add. That was kind of messed up. And all these colonies with this really dull color are all from Aragon. So they've pretty much replaced Castile as, like, I guess the big one in Iberia. But then again, not really. Not really at all. Portugal is maybe the best colonizer in this game. They're looking like it. Let's see if they can keep that title. Again, I'm expecting that there's going to be a big nation that probably cleans up a lot of this border gore. I don't know who it's going to be. It may be a great power, but it is nice to see all these, like, random places here. I mean, Utrecht created this big old thing, which is kind of nice, and they might even get a little bit more since these natives probably won't be able to stop them. Also, they got Savoy over here sharing some land. Wow, and the Commonwealth look like they're going to have another pretty good game, as they might be kicking the Ottomans out of Europe, or at least they're going to get close to it. Muscovy, on the other hand, probably would have had a pretty nice campaign, but with everyone, like, jacking all this territory, yeah, it's probably not going to happen now. You know, it would have been kind of cool if Ming exploded really early on, and then we see their states race after the colonies. Obviously, this would have complicated things even more, but it's already pretty bad enough. Why not make it worse? Yeah, the Ottomans are not going to make it through this game. I doubt it. Not with the Mamluks being as powerful as they are. Songhais, of course, formed, and they are slowly kicking everyone out or just unifying this region. There's really only, like, maybe one European left. At this point, man, the tables have been set. There's no more colonization. It's kind of a deadlock. The only thing that should change is land through war. So I'm thinking some of these smaller guys are probably going to lose their colony. I wonder what trade even looks like in a world like this. I guess it doesn't look that crazy. English Channel still with the most. That's kind of normal. Man, something seriously horrible has happened to most of Aragon's colonies, at least in South America. How did this happen? Maybe they're just spreading themselves out too thin. They still have Venezuela and kind of Louisiana. Well, Louisiana and much more, actually. On a different note, we've got a lot of interesting nations doing well in Central Europe. We've got the Pope, Venice with all this Balkan territory, Saxony, and Württemberg. Austria still controls everything, by the way, but I'm thinking we're going to see a very interesting great powers list. Delhi also doing some crazy shit, just getting up past the Himalayas and going all the way up north like this. Japan is still divided technically, or at least it hasn't formed into one nation yet, and Korea is slowly dying. Damn, that sucks. And randomly, I didn't even see this coming. The Mamluks took both New Zealand and all of Australia. And that's sad. I really wanted to see, I mean, Malaya's doing great. Imagine if they got that territory. Oh, and Hindustan is formed. They can be very powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if they're pretty high in the Great Powers list. I don't know when this happened, but Hanover has taken over Denmark. Although Denmark still exists, kind of. They annexed Norway. They're not doing as well anymore, though. Well, Africa's kind of shared between Songhai and the Mamluks. Kind of. There are still European powers out here, specifically Aragon, who might be losing stuff soon. So here we are at the end of the game, and this wasn't really what I was expecting. mostly from the Eastern Hemisphere is what I mean. I'm guessing, you know, without Western Europeans like England, France, Spain getting as much colonial power, it allowed a lot of these other nations to just do whatever they want. Religiously, we have a Europe that is mostly Protestant. I would say mostly Protestant. Shia still exists because Persia's doing fairly well. And yeah, Hindustan formed, and not too crazy here. And I guess the Americas aren't insane, which I probably shouldn't have expected them to be that crazy. Obviously, the Sunni parts of South America is a little weird. Okay, but culture-wise, yeah, this shit is all over the place. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even want to begin. Let's just show it off, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, here we go. Great powers list: Saxony, Balea, and Castile. Man, this was really. I thought they were gonna be way higher in the list. Maybe if, like I said, they kept Australia and New Zealand. Then we got Muscovy, Songhai, and Hindustan. Damn, yeah, Hindustan. I thought they were gonna be doing well. I actually thought they might get in the top 2. Maybe if they got more territory. And finally, we have France and the Mamluks at number 2 and number 1. Well, kind of surprising. The Mamluks were not my first choice, but they pulled it out somehow. Who would have guessed that all we had to do is allow every damn nation to colonize, and then Ming would explode again? That's how we can fix the game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. A big thanks to Furry Cruz, Daddy Seabean, Mr. Fister, Eat God McNeckass, Jen's Love Disc, Tanner of the Nazareth, Thick Dick Girl Breakson, Drew's Crack Baby, King Solomon, Kiwi Supreme, Dr. Freaky, Franco is Thick, Maxi G, Swiss Argo, Sean Spillman, Jake Paul's My Daddy, Bruce Vacation, Elijah Senpai, Raging Fruit, Delta Aurora, Kirby, and Alfie C.